Console versus PC. Everyone always argues over which one is actually better, so I decided to try finding the best budget pre-built gaming PC on the internet and see if it's good enough to beat the best budget console, which of course is the Xbox Series S. The only issue is it did raise a lot in price. It now costs $380. Even if you actually go anywhere else online, it's even more expensive, $400 on Best Buy, and you can buy it used for a little bit cheaper, but if you want to buy one brand new, it literally costs basically $400. But it still is the best price to performance gaming console you can get in 2026. They literally have that as the first point in the description where it says best value in gaming, and it is true. It's able to get 120 FPS, plus it's very, very smooth. So inside of this console, you're actually getting a 8-core CPU paired with 10 gigabytes of RAM, so it's very smooth for gaming, even if you're actually gaming on 1440p. And since it is a new gen console, even though it did release 6 years ago, so it's not really that new, everything still loads up really fast, especially since you have 512 gigabytes of storage on an SSD. Now, if you go for the higher 1 terabyte version, it does bundle in a headset, but it becomes $500, so why wouldn't you just get like an Xbox Series X at that point? But in my opinion, one of the biggest advantages with the Xbox Series S is you're actually buying from a name brand. You're literally buying from Xbox and not just some random budget PC, so you know the performance is gonna be good. You just know it's gonna perform at 120 FPS, which is why everyone really rates it pretty high, and it has really good reviews. Literally saying it's been solid, loads games fast, runs smooth, and doesn't sound like it's gonna take off. It works great, and yeah, everyone just says that they really, really do love it. Like literally, it's like 4 and 5-star reviews only. Another huge benefit is there are Xbox exclusive games like GTA 6 coming out very, very soon. You actually can't even play on a PC. So having this, you would be able to play games like that you otherwise would not be able to. At the same time though, there are so many advantages to having a gaming PC over a console. However, don't think that you actually can't use your console as a gaming PC. You're able to browse, and I'll show you guys exactly how you can do that on the Xbox, since it has a built-in browser, Microsoft Edge, and you can browse the internet, do schoolwork on things like Microsoft Word, watch YouTube videos, and stream content like Netflix or anything like that. So you're not really losing that many capabilities over a gaming PC, which is why a lot of people should honestly, in my opinion, genuinely just go with an Xbox Series S over a budget PC. But now it's finally time to see if it's possible to find a pre-built gaming PC for under $400 that has at least a 8-core CPU, 10 gigabytes of RAM, and 512 gigabytes of storage. It's definitely gonna be extremely hard, but I started off my search on Amazon. So of course, I'm gonna be putting it on a $400 filter right over there. And let's actually raise the bottom because we want to try and find the best $400 or sub $400 PC possible. First option, RX 550, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and an Intel Xeon E5. So it honestly isn't that bad. You also do have the same amount of storage as the Xbox Series S. Let me actually take a closer look at this, because depending on what gen of CPU it is, it could have like 4 or even more cores. So they say it's up to 3.3 gigahertz. So I actually think it's not really that good of one. They literally just say Intel Xeon E5, but they don't say which gen, which is like the most important thing, because it actually does have more RAM than the Xbox and same amount of storage. So this is actually not a bad option, but I don't know what like CPU we have. The RAM is definitely a lot slower though, since it is DDR3 and the Xbox uses GDDR6 RAM, so it's gonna be much faster. However, let me actually search up Xeon E5 3.3 gigahertz, just so I can try and guess what gen CPU it is. So yeah, like I was saying, it probably is one of these really old ones that's launched in 2012, and I'm pretty sure that's only a 4-core CPU. So literally half the amount of cores as the Xbox. It's just not gonna compete. I need to try and find a better one. This one over here actually has a Core i5 that goes up to 3.6 gigahertz. Please tell me the gen. I hate when they do this. Oh, okay, it's a 3470. And with a quick Google search, it only is a 4-core CPU. So I'm gonna try and find at least a 6-core CPU. It's gonna be really hard. I don't know if we're gonna be able to find one on Amazon. Honestly, a lot of these on Amazon look very similar. The ones with the best CPUs are like these ugly ones that are basically just like school PCs. But yeah, as you guys can see, it actually doesn't have a bad CPU or GPU plus RAM. Like, this is actually pretty good. The only bad thing is the actual storage, but this is literally above our $400 price range anyways. Yeah, I mean, this PC does look good, but as you guys can see, Core i7, 4-core CPU, and only 256 gigabytes of storage. Honestly, on Amazon, I don't think we're gonna find the best $400 pre-built PC. I just wanna... Did Amazon just like crash out? Literally, what happened to Amazon, yo? I went to the next page and it just crashed. What? Okay, so I was gonna end my search on Amazon, but it literally is like not working. Did I just get like hacked or something? So now I am on Temu, and let's actually make sure we have a $400 price cap, and I'm gonna put it at like 350 on the low just so we find like the best ones they have. This one actually looks kind of good aesthetically. Core i7 4th gen. So I think that is still a 4-core CPU. And honestly, the only positive on this is, oh wait, it actually is a 6-core CPU. So this one isn't that bad. It has 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. The thing that is really bad about this PC though, or just not as good, is the graphics card. However, I mean, honestly, if you're playing games on low settings or you're playing games like Fortnite and Valorant that are very CPU intensive, actually having a good CPU is very, very important. So this actually might be a decent option, but I think that really is the only option we have on Temu. I'm gonna save this though. It might potentially be a good buy, plus it is pretty below our $400 kind of budget. Another super budget store though is Walmart. So let's see what they have over here for under $400. Drop this puppy down all the way, just like that. And they actually do have a few options to choose from. Core i5 up to 3.7 gigahertz. I think this is actually the fastest like CPU we've seen at this price range. The only thing is the reviews are a little bit concerning, so that is like not really a good thing. It looks like we also do get 16 gigabytes of RAM. I'm pretty sure, do they say exactly what CPU it is? They say it's a Core i5 quad core, so it is like a 4-core CPU. Yeah, they say it delivers 60 FPS in games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, so like honestly, it's not that high FPS, but I don't think it's the worst option, but it's so hard to find a good like sub $400 PC in 2026. Okay, this is definitely the best budget PC I've found, and ignore the background change. I forgot that I still left it on Xbox colors. But more importantly, back to the PC, I actually found a really good gaming PC. It has the AMD Ryzen 5 2400G. They say it has 4 cores. However, if you actually search it up, it literally says it has 6 physical cores. So, I mean, I don't know if they just listed it wrong or what, but yeah, as you guys can see, it also is able to do up to 3.9 gigahertz, and it has 1 5-star review. Okay, actually, their seller ratings as a company are actually pretty low. This might be a little risky of a buy. I mean, in the product details, they literally have it listed as 4 cores, so I don't know if they don't know what PC parts they're building with. Another thing that is kind of confusing though is they say integrated graphics, but then they say dedicated GT 1030 or 550 GPU. Oh, I think I know what they're trying to say. I think it actually doesn't come with a GT 1030 or RX 550. I think they're literally saying that it is like the same like performance. I mean, honestly, I think this is just too risky to buy. Like, I just think this is like a bad seller. Like they have like the parts listed wrong. They weren't really clear on what GPU we're getting. So if I buy this, I don't even know if I'm getting a GT 1030 or RX 550 or integrated graphics. So yeah, no, I'm not gonna buy it. They're literally only rated 2 stars. It's too risky. Like, I did not expect it to be this hard, like genuinely. And then it's just showing the same PCs that I saw at the top already. Honestly, I'm running out of options. I know Best Buy is known for selling like good products, not necessarily like the cheapest ones, but I just want to see what Best Buy has. I'm literally just trying to find any $400 PC at this point. So if we actually set the price at $400, I don't even, oh, okay. They don't really even have any that look like an actual gaming PC. They have like these Dell Optiplex ones, which has like a Core i7, RX 550. Yeah, no, there's literally no point in buying that. And then the rest are like kind of just a bunch of other like school computers that don't even have RGB. So yeah, not really any good options here. At this point, I'm genuinely searching all over the entire internet. Now we're on Newegg. Let's see if Newegg has anything. So yeah, even on here, you have like mini gaming PCs and then just like more school computers as soon as I put like a $400 budget. So bro, it's actually so hard. Like, there's nothing. There's actually like genuinely nothing. You could obviously build a $400 PC, but the whole point of this video is to actually find a pre-built one because the Xbox comes ready out of the box. So the only thing that makes sense is to compare it to a similarly priced pre-built PC. If I actually go on Google and just search up $400 gaming PC, I don't think we're gonna have any luck, but let me see. It's kind of just showing me the exact PCs that we already have looked at. I mean, you could buy a used one off of eBay, but I'm honestly trying to look for one that's new, so I'm not really looking for anything off of eBay. All right, so honestly, it looks like the Temu gaming PC might be the best option. It does have 5-star ratings, and they say this is so pretty, my grandson loves it. So Miss Steiny West, so she bought it, so a nice grandma buying it for her grandson, you know. And I think that's the only review. Wait, she actually added a picture. Honestly, doesn't look that bad if I'm being honest. However, what I quickly want to do is actually put these exact specs into Amazon and see if we can find an Amazon PC that's like with these specs but a little bit better. All right, so on Amazon, for a PC with similar specs, it really doesn't have that many options. Like this one doesn't even have a graphics card at all. I mean, honestly, if you really want a good PC, you're gonna have to go for one of these ugly ones. It's not a gaming PC. I don't care what anyone says. They say gaming tower. No, it's not a gaming PC. It's literally a school PC, and they just put an RGB strip and a graphics card inside. But then at the same time though, the Temu PC only has 256 gigabytes of storage, which is barely anything, and a 2 gigabyte graphics card. So honestly, if anything, I would prefer going for a PC like this, or like a second option like this, even though it's not really highly rated. It has double the amount of storage. It has an RX 550, which is a 4 gigabyte graphics card instead of 2. And I mean, it is like, yeah, honestly, this one seems a little bit better, even though the processor speed is only 2.5 gigahertz. Okay, so actually this one is a little bit better of an option because they say it has 3 gigahertz instead of 2.5. But scrolling up, I remember I showed this PC at the beginning of the video. This one is able to do 3.6 gigahertz. And in terms of the GPU, they literally don't say what graphics card it is. Like they say 256 gigabytes of storage, Core i7, 16 gigabytes of RAM, but they don't say what graphics card. Do they say in the reviews? Oh my, someone said it just crashed after a month. Okay, let me look in the reviews if they actually say what graphics card it is. Bro, they literally don't say what graphics card it is, and if they're not saying that on the listing, I'm just buying it blind. It could just have like a GT 730 exactly like the other PC, and I wouldn't know. It also looks like it only has 1 stick of RAM. Bro, do they just like not want me buying their PC if they're hiding like the graphics card? Oh, okay, there, finally. They made it so hard. I literally tried looking everywhere, and they didn't say what graphics card it was. So yeah, that's how you know it's not like the best one. Obviously, it's pretty safe to say that we're not gonna be able to find a pre-built gaming PC with the same or better specs than the Xbox. So at this point, I'm literally just searching everywhere for the best option that we possibly have. So I finally narrowed it down to these 3 PCs. This is the first option, Intel Xeon E5 up to 3 gigahertz, RX 550, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and 512 gigabytes of storage. This one that I just showed you guys. And then honestly, this Temu one, only 256 gigabytes of storage. That's just like too little. Like you can't even like download like more than 1 game. So I'm deleting that. And it's just these 2 options. Wow, this is actually really hard. All right, so I did a quick search, and the Core i7 in here that does 3.6 gigahertz actually seems to be a 7th gen one, which is actually pretty good because as you guys can see, it can do like 3.6 gigahertz, which is actually gonna get way better performance, or a little bit better performance than this one. And I mean, they both actually do have a pretty similar graphics card. This one has a 2 gigabyte graphics card, while this one has a 4 gigabyte. So the CPU inside of this PC is better. However, the other gaming PC actually does have a better GPU, a 4 gigabyte one compared to the 2 gigabyte one inside of here. Actually, you can get the GT 730 with 4 gigabytes of VRAM, but I'm assuming it's like the 2 gigabyte version because they like literally did not want to tell me what graphics card it is. And I mean, this one only has 256 gigabytes of storage, so like that's really not that much storage for any game. So like, I'm not even joking, this is the only option. There's literally no other option for under $400. I mean, this is like the exact same price as the Xbox, $380. The reviews are not even like all that. To be honest, I don't think it's gonna be like the most insane gaming PC, but I searched the entire internet, like I told you guys, and this is it. There's no other options at all. So this is literally what I'm gonna get. At least I have a free keyboard and mouse that I'm getting with it. So yeah, definitely try to find a budget PC in 2026 is pretty hard, but let's add this to the cart and hopefully it at least comes fast. So after literally searching the entire internet, unfortunately, I was not able to find a pre-built PC with better specs than the Xbox. But I still think this is the best $400 pre-built PC you can buy right now, and it actually might be able to get more FPS than the Xbox, especially on low settings. First though, I of course need to test out the Xbox just so I know what the budget pre-built PC is really up against. So obviously the PC automatically wins or has the upper hand compared to the Xbox if you're talking about using keyboard and mouse or browsing, but that doesn't mean the Xbox isn't able to do that. You're able to do all the kind of basic browsing, like you can literally just have your keyboard and mouse automatically connected into the back, no add-ons, no third-party tools, and I can browse YouTube exactly like my own gaming PC. I can literally also join Zoom meetings for school. This is another thing that I absolutely love, is that you could literally use this for schoolwork, and you could literally ask your parents to get this for school if you really needed to. But yeah, you can also go over here Microsoft Word and open up Microsoft Word Online and look at how I'm browsing. It's exactly like a PC. There are a few limitations, like you're not able to download files like you are able to on a PC. However, that might be good if like you're a parent watching and you don't want your kid downloading viruses, you know what I mean? But there are also other huge benefits, and I think one of the biggest one is that for both sides between PC and Xbox, you do get exclusive games. Obviously, one of the biggest games coming out is GTA 6, which is only coming out to consoles, so PlayStation 5 and also new gen Xboxes. It's not coming out on PC first, so that is another huge, like, I guess benefit to the Xbox that a lot of people don't really talk about. Plus, another thing that I was mentioning earlier is you can literally not only use this on your setup, and by the way, look at how good it looks in my setup as well. It actually looks almost like a PC setup with how I have everything set up and it connected to a monitor, but you also do have all these different streaming services like Disney, Hulu, HBO, Netflix, Amazon Prime, all these type of things. So you can not only use it on your setup, but also in your living room. I honestly would say that this is already good enough for like 80% of people, 90% of people, unless you really wanted a PC. Then I honestly would already say, especially with like all the games you have on Xbox, for most like people, this is probably like good enough for like 80% of people, especially with the performance of the Xbox. In my opinion, this is probably the biggest advantage that the Xbox has, is just how good the performance is, especially if you go over here in the settings and make sure you have 120 FPS mode on, because you guys are gonna see we're actually able to hit 120 FPS extremely consistently. There is one downside though, you're basically fully capped at 120 FPS. There's not really that many settings you can play around, not only in games like Fortnite, but just with any games in general. With a PC, you have much more control with your game settings, and you do definitely just have more control overall. Inside of the pre-lobby, this is where we definitely do get a lot of frame drops sometimes, but okay, 92 was the lowest I just saw it drop to, but overall, as you guys can see, it's not like stuttering. It's not getting 120 FPS like super consistently, but it's not stuttering, which is like the biggest thing. And obviously, I actually am just gaming on 1080p with this console. Oh, I just saw it drop to 46 actually, but if I got a higher end new gen console, I could get 4K and 120 FPS, but it actually looks like I have a bigger issue with my ping and my internet than the actual console. But dude, yeah, I mean, the FPS is like strictly at 100 to 120, so if I'm moving around, you can see we're not getting any stuttering or like frame dropping at all. Like it still feels very smooth to game on. And if you guys can see, I am just playing with keyboard and mouse, because honestly, it does not feel like there's that much input delay at all. Like it feels very consistent to play on. You guys know how much I love PC, but honestly, I think this is just such a good buy. Like I play on a 5090 gaming PC, but the input delay on this doesn't feel bad at all. I would definitely get used to this, and especially if you never have tried gaming on a PC before, if you go from a old gen console to like this, a new gen console, it's gonna feel so smooth. And I mean, even for me, like dude, I'm able to build and like play everything on keyboard and mouse very good, and just mainly having like over 100 FPS is like honestly the biggest thing. And it's gonna be really hard for the budget PC to honestly beat this in terms of like the consistency. It's just like the console is just so good, I'm not gonna lie. It feels so good to game on. It's genuinely so smooth. I would definitely say that one of the biggest disadvantages though is that there's just no upgrading this at all. Like you're basically gonna be like at 120 FPS the whole time, but at least you're actually getting that like consistently. Oh my gosh, I'm definitely dead. And we just one pumped him. The only disadvantage in my opinion is you're legit capped at 120 FPS. Like I said, there's literally no settings to even make it a little bit lower. The only thing you can kind of change is the resolution from like 1080p or like go a little bit higher, but at least we're getting 120 FPS like very consistently with like no frame drops, and it feels very, very smooth to game on. Obviously, we are also able to game on controller. I just absolutely suck on controller. I can like do basic 90s and stuff like that, but okay, I definitely will say I can feel there is a little bit less input delay on controller. Oh my gosh, yep, I suck a little bit too much. And it genuinely has been smooth the entire game, like 120 FPS. Obviously, I've been saying this whole time that I'm not able to get more, but I feel like I don't even need more. It just is so consistent. It's like more than good enough for me. Honestly, every time I game with this Xbox, it shocks me like how good it is for the price, especially if you're buying it used, because it has gotten just like way more expensive now, unfortunately, with like the increase, I guess inflation happening in gaming. But yeah, honestly, this console is just so good. This honestly sounds like I'm sponsored by Xbox, but it's gonna be very, very hard for the PC to beat. Like, I don't even know. We might be able to get more than 120 FPS on the PC if we're on low settings, but dude, for the consistency, bro, we're literally like hard capped at 110 to 120 FPS the whole game. So the Xbox Series S is an extremely good option on a budget in 2026, but is the pre-built gaming PC able to beat it? And if I'm being honest, I am kind of rooting for the gaming PC. I really want it to beat the console. As you guys saw from me searching for almost an hour for a gaming PC, so compared to the console, we do also get a few add-ons with this specific pre-built, like a membrane gaming keyboard. It looks to be a full-size gaming keyboard, and I think we also do get a mouse right over here. They also did give us some like warranty manuals and stuff like that, and I actually think they're located in Niagara Falls, New York for their customer support. So that's just super random, but hey, American customer support. As for the packaging of this PC, they actually did a good job. The box was in amazing condition, but of course, let's take out all the styrofoam so we can actually see how good the PC looks. Based on the listing images, I actually think the gaming PC looks really good, and I think in terms of aesthetics, the PC definitely looks a lot nicer compared to the Xbox Series S. I do have to give it that. They did actually also add a lot of packaging with this, because as you guys can see, let me flip this over. It says tempered glass handle with care, so that is definitely one thing you want to make sure. And they taped this up very well because this side panel actually swings open, so they didn't want it shaking or opening and breaking during shipping. So dude, the packaging on this PC is genuinely really good, like 10 out of 10 packaging. Okay, I just removed some of the tape and we're now able to slide this door open. You can actually just fully take it out if you want to. Some people don't know you can do that, but on this actual tempered glass side panel, we have the Wi-Fi like little USB thing, because the motherboards in these cheap gaming PCs actually don't have built-in Wi-Fi, so that's why you actually need to use a Wi-Fi dongle. And we also get an RGB remote on this as well. But now it's time for the moment of truth. Whenever I buy pre-built gaming PCs, especially cheap ones, half the time they don't look like how they look in the listing. Like, they cheap out on the graphics card, or they put ugly RAM inside, or even like the wrong CPU coolers. So I'm really hoping we didn't get scammed on our budget PC, and I don't remember the listing having green on the motherboard. So this is what I'm talking about. Also, I'm pretty sure all the RAM, wait, I need to check this again. It did arrive pretty fast, but I kind of forgot how it looked exactly. I just don't remember having it look like that. I'm gonna double check this. Yup, and I was correct. It did not look like this at all. They had two RAM sticks over here on the right. I actually am not sure if like this is a different model, like motherboard. They didn't list the motherboard in the description, so I guess it's like not the end of the world. The CPU cooler still looks the same, and at least they did have 2 sticks of RAM in the listing picture, and now we do have 2 sticks of RAM, so both of them being 8 gigabytes, of course. At least I hope so, because yeah, having 2 8GB sticks is much better than having one 16GB stick, because you get dual channel. However, looking at the side of this, oh yeah, I can see it says 8GB, and it says it's at 12,800 megahertz. So that definitely is a typo. I assume they meant like 1200 megahertz. So yeah, it is just like DDR3 RAM, so it's not DDR4 or DDR5. Honestly, I don't really expect that for like a budget PC. However, I actually can't really hate on it too much. It overall looks pretty good. So if we power it on, immediately boots up, everything's working, it's not shutting off. Okay, so I mean, hey, I always get a little bit worried with budget PCs, especially when they're under 500. I've just had bad experiences, but this one actually looks pretty good. I don't really like the effects that it has on the RGB though. I think this is just like the default rainbow. So let's actually grab our controller right over here. Let's just make sure everything works, because you never know. We got all the colors. We can go like kind of solid colors, pink, like purple. I love this kind of effect right here. It actually looks really good. And even the little CPU air cooler, it's all kind of matched and they connected everything very well. So honestly, I don't think it's the end of the world that the RAM over here is like one RAM stick on each side. We still have 2 8GB sticks, which is all I really care about. And I mean, having like a little bit of green showing, it's not like the end of the world if I'm being completely honest. And I've definitely seen a lot worse. Plus the RAM sticks they added are actually like black, so that is better than having like the really ugly like green cheap ones. And if I'm being honest, aesthetically, this just looks better than the Xbox Series S. The Xbox Series S is not an ugly console by any means. This just looks way cooler in my opinion, and inside any gaming setup, it's just gonna look way nicer and it just make it feel a little bit more expensive, I guess you could say, if anyone really cares about that. But I just love gaming PCs, and especially when you have like RGB on them and stuff like that. But that's not really the main reason we bought this PC. We really bought this PC because of the specs. So inside of this pre-built PC, we do have 16 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM. That is actually a very important thing to note, because it is completely different from like DDR5 RAM, just for anyone that didn't know. Moving on from the RAM though, for the processor, this is actually extremely important, especially if you play games like me, Fortnite on performance mode, Valorant, or even Minecraft on low settings. Just honestly, any game on low settings, you're gonna be using the processor or CPU way more heavily than the GPU. So it's actually very important that you get a PC with a good CPU as well. But as you guys saw from the listing, we actually have the Intel i7 Xeon E5, and they did say it gets 3 gigahertz in the actual like Amazon listing. However, I definitely will be checking that, because I've had experiences where they just fully switch out the CPU, and obviously I'm not able to check that since it's like under the CPU like air cooler, which by the way does look really nice with the RGB. But I definitely will be running benchmarks not only on the CPU but all the parts inside the PC, confirming that we actually get the right parts, and like checking out the usage and seeing what's causing any type of like stuttering or thermal throttling. I'm gonna be doing all those tests. But good news, I actually did also confirm that for the graphics card, we do have the RX 550, which is exactly what they had in the listing. But I actually think it's gonna be a somewhat decent PC if we're using like low settings, but anything higher, if I'm being honest, I don't think the RX 550 will be able to run it like pretty good. I would definitely not bet on like running any games on medium, high, or ultra settings, even if you keep it on 1080p. I think this is gonna be strictly a performance mode and low 1080p setting, hopefully not 720p. But yeah, overall, I have to say that this probably is like the best under $400 pre-built PC that you can buy right now. Like, there was literally no other options, and I don't think it's that bad, but maybe the benchmark will tell us otherwise. Real quick before we get to that though, there are actually a few extra add-ons like I mentioned earlier. These are just like, I guess I wouldn't really be gaming with these. I'm not actually gonna game with them at all. One, because this mouse is extremely cheap. It doesn't have side buttons, and I could literally like break this apart if I really wanted to in like one snap. So it is just a very cheap feeling mouse. But if you actually just want to use like, you could use it, but I wouldn't really recommend. Even if I was playing Roblox, I would definitely not be using these. And this is just like a default like membrane gaming keyboard. Let me show you guys. It does have RGB, which is really nice, but yeah, if I had to be honest, I'm definitely not going to be using this, and it just sounds really cheap and doesn't feel good to game on at all. Okay, I actually just noticed this. This fan is not spinning. I'm pretty sure it was spinning before, and it literally is not spinning. I'm shutting this off, and I'm gonna try turning it back on. Bro, it literally was not spinning. I'm not even joking. All right, the PC is off. Turn it on. Yep. All right, so that already is one issue. I don't know if that was happening before and I just didn't realize, but I just noticed it now. now. I don't know if you would really want to be buying a PC and not have the fan spinning, because what does that kind of tell you about the build quality, that it might not be the best? Honestly, I would go as far as like returning this PC and getting like another one if you really, really wanted it, because like, dude, that's just not really good. And another thing is, a lot of these cheap budget PCs, they kind of cheap out on the power supply. So we have a 500 watt power supply, but that definitely is another thing that I would highly recommend paying attention to, and like knowing you're accepting a little bit of risk, because the Xbox Series S, even if you buy a used one, that's from Microsoft, and that's just like more of a safer buy and more of a better guarantee that it's gonna work long term, because in this video, I'm gonna only be testing it out for a few hours, but I have no idea how this PC is gonna perform like after a month. So I would definitely be looking at like reviews, and also just knowing the risk that you're kind of taking with like budget PCs, even if they're pre-built. But hey, let's see how it performs. And we already found out one bad thing on it. The fan does not spin. Oh, it's literally broken. It got damaged during shipping. I can literally shake it around. It's fully off like the rotator thing. It's like broken. Yeah, like if I try and spin it, it literally does not spin. It just literally broke. So I would definitely be returning this, because this isn't like an issue with like a plug not being plugged in. It's just fully broken. Like I can literally, like, you guys hear that? So yeah, that kind of tells you that the build quality on this probably isn't the best. Another thing I have to quickly mention is, on the positive side, they didn't really do cable management, but it actually looks kind of good because all the cables are black. But that's enough nitpicking. Let's actually connect this PC, and hopefully everything just works like without me having to do anything. The gaming PC actually looks pretty good, and in my opinion, better than the console. But the most important part, and the main reason I bought it, is to see how it performs. So I decided to start it off with a quick benchmark. And bad news, we have a gaming score of 10%, which is very, very bad. And if we actually scroll down, we can see that we have the Intel Xeon E5 2637. So it's a very, very old CPU. It is a 4-core CPU. It does say it has a base clock speed of 3.5 gigahertz, which is actually more than the 3 gigahertz they have in the listing. So hey, that is a positive. But our RX 550, so our graphics card, is performing above expectations, which is amazing. And it looks like for our RAM, I did say it was 1600 megahertz, and it is definitely DDR3 as well. So like overall, I don't know if they estimate the FPS that we're gonna be able to get, but yeah, it says that we're getting around 60, and that was on 720p. Oh my gosh, this might actually be really bad. Oh my, yeah. If I had to put my money on anything before I try gaming on this, I'm gonna already say that the console probably is gonna smoke the performance of this PC. So I actually did not expect this. The PC is able to get over 200 FPS, so it is getting more FPS than the Xbox Series S. These are my settings: performance mode, and of course all low. Plus, I did keep it on 1080p. We are not on 720p. However, I will say is, as soon as we start building, it actually sits basically to exactly what the Xbox Series S was able to get. It is maybe like 10 more FPS. It's at like 130, but honestly, I actually think the console might have weirdly felt like just as smooth. Like, I honestly don't notice any difference between this and the console, and this is literally on performance mode, the lowest Fortnite settings you can possibly be running, and this is in my Fortnite creative map. Like, look at how empty this is. On the bright side, I would say that the temperatures are actually amazing. Like, not only on the CPU, but also for the GPU. Bro, we're literally like in the low 40s. We're under 40 degrees for the CPU, as you guys can see. But I actually did not expect this. I don't know what it is. It doesn't feel like as smooth as the console, which is really weird because I'm gaming on keyboard and mouse, and I know it looks smooth, but I'm just telling you guys from like what I feel, it weirdly does not feel as smooth, which is very, very weird. But yeah, we are in creative, and this is not a really good sign. It might look like it's actually doing amazing right now because, hey, we are getting more FPS than the Xbox Series S if we really were just aiming for that. But look, we're in a Fortnite creative map with basically nothing in it, and we already have 100% usage on the GPU, which I actually did not expect that at all. I expected that on the CPU mainly, but the CPU is already at 80%, so I'm not even gonna touch the settings. I'm literally just gonna go from a Fortnite creative map to a actual Fortnite reload game just to show you guys, like, it's not gonna be pretty. I just literally loaded loaded into the game, and yeah, basically the CPU and GPU are completely maxed out, and that's what's causing our stuttering, because the CPU, we are on performance mode, which literally utilizes more of the CPU actually when you're on performance mode than the GPU, but we're pretty much maxing it out already, so our FPS is already at 90 here, and this isn't really a fair comparison because we're on performance mode. If I wanted to actually game on the same settings that the Xbox is running, I'm gonna test it out on DX12 high settings, and we're not even gonna be able to play the game at all. But let's just see how playable it is right now. If I'm just staring up at the sky, you can see our max FPS is actually pretty good. 200. It is more than the Xbox, but in terms of the actual consistency, it's more like 60 to 70 FPS, and that's literally just due to our CPU and GPU being at 100% usage already. Plus, oh, and he just stole my weapon. Another weird thing is I literally could not get the audio to work. Like, I don't know why. The FPS, I didn't even realize it's actually at like 100. Wait, let me try running it for a little bit on this. I want to see how oh, okay, yeah, never mind. You see how inconsistent it is? Like, the Xbox was just straight up smoother. Look at how much it's frame dropping. All the lag spikes that you guys are seeing right now with the screen recording is literally what I'm feeling. It's dropping and feeling so inconsistent. Like, it feels really bad to game on. It does not feel good at all. I mean, it is playable, but the Xbox was straight up just cheaper. And this is, keep in mind, on low performance mode, 1080p settings. Like, as I'm just like playing around here, oh my gosh. Okay, wait, I need to lock in. I'm literally just getting cooked here. The Xbox was just better, and especially if you buy the Xbox used, it was way cheaper. Or if you buy the Xbox new, it was actually like $30 cheaper than this like trash PC. Like, yo, I mean, hey, if I'm trying to really play into the advantages of the PC though, like I said, you do have a little bit more control. So we have performance mode, all low settings. Oh, why did it just tab out? I literally don't know what it did. Like, you guys see my hand is not on the keyboard, but let's drop it down to 720p. So now it's gonna have half the amount of pixels to render. So our FPS might actually go up to like maybe 100-ish consistently. Let's see, it already spiked up. Oh, okay, now it's way better. But keep in mind, this is 720p. Like, I mean, I'm playing into the advantages of having a PC over a console because, I mean, you could drop it down to 720p on a console, but you're not gonna get more FPS. However, if you do that on the PC, we clearly are getting more FPS. I actually think it's way more consistent now. It actually feels way better to game on, but this is 720p. Like, this is extremely low settings here. I don't know if you want to be spending like $400 almost on a PC just to be like struggling to get 100 FPS on 720p. I mean, hey, you guys can do what you want to do, but if it were me and my money, I'm not standing for this. Yo, this thing is actually trash. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, this is just not it. Plus, I don't even know why I couldn't get the audio to like work. I don't know what is wrong with it. Honestly, I don't even feel like playing right now. I just would rather be on the Xbox. It just was way better to game on. Oh my gosh, and my aim is trash. And okay, there we go. I don't even care. Now, just to prove my point, we're getting less FPS, more stuttering on the lowest settings possible on 720p. Just for fun, you know, just to show how bad this PC is, let's actually go in the same settings that a console like would use. So like that we were running on the console. Let's go back to 1080p, and we're gonna go on DX12, and we're gonna go on high settings, not even ultra settings, and I just want to see if the PC is even able to run it. I wouldn't be surprised if it crashes, honestly. This is just for experimental purposes, just so I can actually get a like exact number of what the difference is, because we know 120 FPS is what the Xbox is able to do on high settings. What's the PC able to do? If I had to guess, maybe like 30 to 40, so it's gonna have like 30% of the performance of the piece of the console, which is literally horrible because it was also more expensive. So I don't really think the benefits of a PC are really worth it over a console. But hey, let's see. Already loading into the lobby. It is kind of struggling. 100% usage on both the GPU and CPU. The one thing I will say is I am very surprised that the temperatures are not hot. Like, bro, they put an overkill like CPU air cooler inside of here. Like, dude, the only part I recommend inside of this gaming PC is the CPU air cooler. It not only looks really good, but it performs good. Why is our thing not working? It's literally so laggy. It's not, okay, there we go. Yo, oh, wait, that's actually, yo, why does it do that? It literally goes from low, medium, and it won't even let me go to high. It just automatically skips to custom. So I guess I'm I'm just gonna go in custom. I actually don't think console has these, but I'm gonna keep it all on high right over here, and let's just load into a game. We're just having fun at this point. I don't even want to know what it gets. 20 FPS in the lobby. We might actually just straight up crash before we get into a game. Okay, so it's even worse than I expected. I mean, hey, if I'm looking up at the air, it's like 40. Okay, oh my gosh. Yeah, no. So it literally is 10%. It actually is, yeah, it's getting 12 FPS. Our Fortnite skin isn't even low. No, this might actually be, no. No, this actually is trash. No, that I actually got scammed for $400. Like, please give me my money back. Yo, this is like basically 10 to 20% as good performance as, yo. No, it's even worse. It's like 10% of the performance of the Xbox, and it's more expensive. Oh my gosh. Can we even get this kill? Yo, it's so laggy. Oh my gosh. Hey, I got one kill. That's all that I care about, but we're 5 FPS, 6 FPS. No, this is crazy. Oh my gosh. So in 2026, if you're trying to get a good budget deal under $400, the Xbox is the clear winner. However, if you want to actually upgrade your setup on a budget, make sure you check out my mouse pads at elevateculture.co. All of the mouse pads come with a free wallpaper pack to completely transform your gaming setup, and they genuinely will make your setup look so much better, just like the setups you guys see up on screen. Plus, the glide on the mouse pads is absolutely amazing, and 10% of the profits go to Chrisitan Churches. We're also trying to hit 1 million subs by the end of the year, so make sure you guys sub, because only 20% of you guys that watch my videos are subs. So just go down there and drop a quick sub. But more importantly, remember, Jesus loves you.